What does justice mean under the law? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is attorney Corky Goldstein. Thanks so much for being with us.
Always good to be here.
Talk to us a little bit about the definition of justice, because it can mean different things to different people, but you say in legal terms, it's really the process of going through due process.
We live in a land of laws. America is a land of laws. Justice in our country is when somebody, let's say, is arrested for a crime, and they go through the entire process. They have a preliminary hearing. They have a right to an attorney. If they can't afford it, they're appointed one. They go through the process. If it goes to a jury trial, it goes before a jury. They get all the due process that's appropriate. But then at the end of the jury comes back, and if the jury says guilty, then the people who are crying out for justice, they say justice has prevailed. However, if the jury says not guilty, they might say, well, justice has not prevailed.
But you say it has prevailed.
But it has prevailed, because under our system of laws, if people are given all of the due process from the beginning, from the arrest, and they have the right to counsel, and they have a right to cross-examine, and all the things that go on, at the end of the case, if due process was completed, that is justice in America.
You say this is an important distinction right now in light of what we've seen in terms of public demonstrations, in light of some of the unrest we've seen in cities across the country. You say this definition of justice, this distinction in the process of justice when it comes to due process, is important.
Absolutely, because there are people who, in many of the unfortunate situations that were going on in our country, more recently in Baltimore, people say they want justice, and these 6 police officers were indicted, and that starts the process, and it goes through the whole process until the end of the case. If due process was given to all the police officers, they had right to counsel, and the prosecution argued that case forcefully, but at the end of the day, the jury found them not guilty. That is justice in America, having full due process. However, people have a right to feel that justice still wasn't served because they weren't found guilty. And that's the distinction, and I want people to understand, and the legal profession wants people to understand that just because they weren't found guilty at the end doesn't mean justice was not served. The process is justice.
So the process is justice. The judicial process works even if people are unhappy with the end results.
That's exactly right, and that's whether in civil cases where there's a finding of liability or non-liability. If the process is followed, the due process, then justice has been served.
Thanks for being with us, Corky.
Always good to be here.
We've been talking with attorney Corky Goldstein. I'm Jill Horner.